Hi guys, it's Carissa and I am going to do Vera's 2-month update. She turned 8 weeks on Friday the 20-something. I don't remember what day it was. She's currently wearing a hand-me-down outfit, which is so cute, from one of her cousins. You show everybody your outfit? She's having a really good day today as well, so I'm going to try and take this opportunity to make her video because we've been dealing with a little bit of colic during the daytime. But when she doesn't have it during the daytime, she makes up for it at night. I'll talk about that. She is still in newborn clothing and she's filling it out basically. Before it was pretty big on her, and now she still wears like a Carter's size newborn. If something is sized 0 to 3 months, it is definitely too big for her. Her eyes are still on the blue side. They're kind of grayish blue. They have a dark rim around the outside, and the centers are very sort of steely gray. I'm so curious all the time what color her eyes will be. My mother and her side of the family had blue eyes, but it's so unlikely that they will stay blue, in my opinion. But I don't know, if I had to guess, that maybe she'll have like hazel eyes, like I do, is what I'm sort of thinking. And she, I think in her 2nd month, started to lose some of her hair, and she seems to be getting it back now. She is exclusively breastfed, and she really doesn't have formula. I think she's had formula like twice in the past month, and that's just because Mike wanted to give her a bottle so that I could either sleep or run errands. We have found that we've really liked running errands as a family, especially since her colic started, because I know there are a lot of people who, you know, they really mean well and they want to come and relieve me and give me a break from her colic, but I'm really all she wants. Even through the tears, she cries so much harder for anybody else. And I know some people still wouldn't mind and they still would want to come over for me, but truthfully, it means so much to me to spend as much time with her as I can, especially in this stage, because it passes so fast. And if she's really upset for no reason and doesn't understand why, or maybe say she has gas or reflux and she just can't tell us and I can't really tell either, if I can't remedy that for her in any other way other than just being here and being the one that's holding her, that's just, for me, that's my instinct. That's just what I want to do. So I usually hold her right through it, and if she falls asleep in my arms, then that's what I'm doing, is I'm sitting and I'm letting her sleep through the discomfort or whatever it is that's causing her to be upset. I have really focused on adjusting my diet accordingly. I've noticed that there is a possibility that dairy was an issue, so I backed off on the dairy. And I know that people don't like the term nipple confusion because it's not really about them being confused, it's about them having preferences. She has that big time with binkies, with pacifiers, and she goes through phases, it seems like week to week, of what kind she likes. She does not like a used binky. If she has it in her mouth 1 second, spits it out. If you try and give it back to her, she doesn't want it, and she can always tell the difference. She just doesn't care for the taste of her own saliva, I guess. But she also has not seemed compatible with any nipples for bottle feeding. The Dr. Browns are the best, the preemie flow, but she still has trouble with that even. So I'm really grateful that breastfeeding is an option for us in that sense, because that would be a whole new battle for us to face. Towards the beginning of the month, we were experiencing a little bit of a witching hour phase. It would start around 4 o'clock, between 4 and 6 o'clock, and it would last about 2 hours based on whenever it had started. And so the 6 to 8 o'clock one was kind of ideal because it would keep her up a little bit before bedtime. Even though she was fussing and she was upset, she was awake. But now none of that seems to matter. She almost always sleeps about a 4 or 5 hour stretch at night, depending on what time we go to sleep. But she will wake up at 3 a.m. every single day, which is so funny because that's pretty much the time that I would wake up in the middle of the night almost every time if I had trouble sleeping during my pregnancy. But I can usually count on her I can usually count on her sleeping about 4 to 5 hours at night, waking up for a feeding, which either is 5 to 10 minutes long, or I'm up with her for 2 hours and then she'll go back to sleep. Sometimes we just go downstairs and I turn something on TV. I've been watching Good Morning America on Hulu. I've been watching the previous day's episode of Good Morning America in the morning with her. So some mornings at like 5 o'clock, I'll turn that on and we'll have a couple of nursing sessions, and sometimes she'll fall asleep and I'll either hold her and prop my arms and my head up in a way that's kind of a safe sleeping position for both of us, and I'll sleep too, or I'll just power through it. And oh, you pouting. And we might be getting into a little bit of an unhappy hour here. But the colic, I really don't mind it, and her sort of witching hour has crept up earlier towards the end of her second month, and it starts closer to 3:30 now, if it starts at all. So, and if she has a really good day, say she slept a lot or she didn't fuss a lot, she'll usually have a rough night that night. I can almost always expect it. So I've been learning to put things down, not put pressure on myself. If she's sleeping and I feel capable of taking a nap, I will try to, but I can't always. And I swear she has a sense for when I'm relaxed, because she will wake up and want to eat or cry or whatever she wants to do. As soon as I go to relax, she has other plans. So I put in her notes that on February 5th, she smiled at me 3 times. And I remember when I wrote that down thinking that might have been a fluke, but I would smile at her, say when I went to change her diaper, and I'd make eye contact with her and I'd smile real big and she would smile back. And after my heart got done exploding and I had to like pick it all up and put it back together again and just try and be a human being again after that, I tried it again a few times and she smiled back, and I just it still gets me. So that was not a fluke. That was you know, she was only a little over a month old then, and she smiled right at me and has continued to throughout her second month. Usually a couple of times a day I can get her to smile directly at me, and it's so funny because I can't get her to do it in front of the camera because she gets distracted by it. I can't get her to do it in front of other people. It's like this private thing that she saves for me, and it's totally fine. I mean, she has smiled for other people at them, but it's just, I don't know, it's just such a wonderful thing. I'm so excited for her to start laughing, but I enjoy it so much. She still loves looking out the window. Sometimes that's the only thing that will save us from a little bit of fussing. I'll lay her on her play mat. She has a baby mushroom snug square play mat. It's a foam play mat and it's on the floor in front of the window in our living room. That's where I change her diaper, and sometimes that's where I change her clothes. I lay her down there and she just sort of gazes out the window, and I put some Easter window clings on it for her, but we don't even need them. She just likes looking out the window so much. We also benefit in this home a lot from white noise and ocean sounds. We do have a dome white noise sound machine in our bedroom. That's almost more for Mike's benefit, honestly, than for hers, because I turn it on at night on one of the higher settings, and if she's grunting a lot on my side of the bed, or it just in general making more noise than usual, it drowns it out and doesn't wake him up, because he has to go to work and I really don't mind waking up. I'll stay up with her all night if I have to, so I don't want to affect his sleep too much. But the sleep I do get, I really want it to be in my own bed. I don't mind sleeping on the couch, but boy do I love, my bed has never felt more comfortable than it does now that I don't get to sleep, you know, when I want or how much I want. So if I only get an hour of sleep, if I could choose, I want it to be in my bed. So I do really try to keep her in our room as long as possible. She has been sleeping in the rock and play sleeper. She'll sometimes start off in the dakota in our bed. But if she seems like she's too fussy, or if she seems like she possibly has reflux that day, I don't even bother. I'll just put her right into the rock and play next to my bed. Another thing that I've noticed is she definitely does not like a vibration setting on anything. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but she has a swing and a little seat and her rock and play, and what else? She's got 3 or 4 different little seats of some kind that have a vibration setting, and she hates it on all of them. She also has really been showing us how strong she's gotten. Her neck, her arms, her legs, she's constantly trying to go into a standing position from wherever we're holding her. She swings her arms around a lot, almost too much, where she's interfering with her feedings, where she's knocking her food source out of her mouth, whether it's a bottle or a boob, and then she gets frustrated. But if I try to swallow her arms down, she hates that even more. It's better to just, you know, let her fight that a little bit. And I think sometimes she seems to learn, like, if she's moving her arms, she's not able to eat, and so she'll calm down. But she's affected the latch a lot in recent weeks, even with her hands. And her hands seem really cold during the day, but if I try to cover them up, mittens, blankets, it doesn't matter. Any way I try and restrict her arms or hands, she hates it. So I just let her. If she's sleeping like this, I try and hold her hands because it's nice skin to skin contact, and it'll keep her hands warmer, and she'll do that. She is okay with that. But otherwise, let this girl have her hands. One of the things, there's probably some scientific explanation for this, but I just find it funny. She is more startled by tiny sounds than loud ones. If I cough while she's sleeping or drop something, she sleeps right through it. Sometimes she doesn't even react. But if I, one night, I love this story, I've told it so many times, so I'm sorry to anyone who already heard it, but one night in particular, and this wasn't the only time, this is just a funny example to me because it was the tiniest of sounds, but this is just how this goes. I was having a really hard time getting her to go down. She wouldn't sleep. She seemed really fussy, but she had eaten. She had a dry diaper. There's just no reason for her to be fussy. She just was. And I was getting ready to give up and go downstairs with her. Sometimes just a change of scenery helps. She just likes to be in a different room. So I thought, okay, maybe we're going to get up for the day. It was like 2:30 in the morning. But she did. She fell asleep. And I was able miraculously to transfer her from my arms to her rock and play without waking her up. But then when I waited for a really long time, it felt like 10 minutes, but it was probably only 2 minutes. I waited and waited and waited to make sure she was asleep. And then as I went to lay down in bed, I swiped one of my fingernails across the sheets, and it made just that little, like, you know, just the sound of just your nail, like, brushing against a fabric, but like against my sheets. It made a very distinct, just like swiping noise. It woke her up. I don't know how, but it woke her up, and she was up. So we went downstairs and we watched a movie. But yeah, I can cough, I can talk to people, I can do all sorts of stuff. My phone can ring, but if I just go like this, sometimes it will wake her up, and that's all it takes. So I'm sure there's something about sound waves and things like that. There's some explanation for that, but it's just funny to me. Another thing I've noticed is she seems to have gotten eyebrows this month. She didn't really have, I mean, she had little bits of hair there. It was very fine and light, but now she has hair with some color to it. When she's 10 weeks, she has her 2-month appointment with her pediatrician, and then I'll find out what her weight is and see how things have been going. But if I had to guess, she's doing really well, and I really don't have anything to complain about. I mean, the colic has prevented me from making videos for you guys, but otherwise there's really nothing that is so big an obligation in my life that I can't take the time to comfort her and feed her and just do whatever she needs during that time. So I really don't mind it. Yes, it can be tough, especially when she's sort of at like a level 10 scream crying for an extended period of time. That's tough. One day Mike came home from work and I had a splitting headache. I hadn't had like a drop of water. I hadn't had sleep or rest. She'd just been crying so much. But it just meant so much to me to be able to be there for her, because I could tell I was comforting her. She seemed worse if I tried to put her down or walk away from her. That's not always the case though. Sometimes she does want me to lay her down and she'll pass right out. So, you know, one day we had a really, really tough day, and it was just last week. And when Mike came home, he tried to help me and relieve me, but she really only wanted me, and she still was crying even then. But I can't complain. I really can't. I know that that just comes with the territory of having a baby, and I'm grateful that it's only, you know, one day here or there where things are that bad. I know there are some people who get it much worse, so I don't mind. All right, that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. By the way, I just laid her down on the ground, and Lucy had to come over immediately and check her out. Lucy, Bowser's just like whatever. Bowser only comes over to smell her when she's pooped because he's gross, but Lucy is a wonderful sister, aren't you, Luce? I have a funny story about her. One night, I had started to transition some of my pre-pregnancy clothes back into my closet, and I had some laundry to put away, so I had a little bit of a project started in the bedroom and I hadn't finished it. And Vera was sleeping in her swing, so I took the video monitor upstairs with me, and we don't have it set up officially yet in her room, so I can just kind of move it wherever I need to. And right now it's in the living room pointed at her swing. So I had that with me, and I was listening to a podcast or something on my phone, or Audible or something, and I was putting the laundry away waiting for Mike to get home from work, and Lucy was standing at the top of the stairs crying and crying, and you know, she's a dog. I can't explain to her that I can see her, she's perfectly fine, but I kept calling her into the bedroom to, like, Lucy, she's okay, come in here with me, and she refused. She'd come into the doorway and give me a dirty look and then go back to the top of the stairs and cry. And I realized that my dog thinks I'm a bad mom because I think she thought that I forgot about the baby. So she cried enough that I started to wonder, well, maybe she has to go to the bathroom. So I was like, all right, I've done enough for today anyway. So I sort of just threw the rest of what I didn't finish into a laundry bag and grabbed my stuff, and I went downstairs. And of course, Lucy ran right to the swing, sat down, and turned around and looked at me. And she made me feel pretty awful. So now I just try and bring the baby with me if I have something to do in another room. But I thought that was really cute, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. All right, that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later.